Balake. Where is Balake at?
My name's Blake.
Do you want to go to war, Balake? I'm for real. Ron.
Ron is here, everyone. Welcome back for more SPTV, where every day's a great day not to be in a cult. We got SPTV late night edition going on right now. It's been a long time since I've just done a live stream at 10 o'clock, but this came up. It was topical. It's timely. Want to get it done so we can move on to a whole lot of other stuff tomorrow. Guys, they just published the website, or how to be accurate, the website for Hollywood's Christmas Day parade. I just got to put my stuff on Do Not Disturb. That Scientology has participated in every year for I don't even know how long. The website has just fully updated with all the participants and the floats and who's going to be holding the floats and the balloons and who's going to be holding what and everything. I don't even know what to make of this. And thank you to Streets LA William Good for sending this to me. I told him I would get this video done today, and that's why I'm doing it, even though it's late. Guys, the Scientology L. Ron Hubbard float is being wrangled, which means they're holding all the ropes and everything. It's a balloon. It's like a balloon float thing, by the Boy Scouts of America. And I don't really know which way to go with this. And I've got a lot of stuff, set up here in my tabs that I'm going to share with you and everything. But here's what I mean when I say I don't know which way to go with this. Does it make more sense to focus on trying to get the Boy Scouts of America to understand why they probably don't want to partner up with the Church of Scientology? Or does it make more sense to protest two organizations at the same time? Now, it is my opinion that Scientology knows, gosh darn diggity darn well, pardon my French, that there's going to be protesters protesting them at the Hollywood parade. And maybe they thought, you know what the protesters will never do? Protest a bunch of little Boy Scouts. And maybe the protesters don't want to protest a bunch of little Boy Scouts. I don't know. I do know that William seemed to think that we could probably, given the right emphasis and the right messaging and contacting the right people, somehow prevent this from happening. Let Scientology go out there and wrangle their own damn float. Why are the Boy Scouts of America going to do it? But here's where this gets a little interesting. Interesting is an interesting word to use here. So there was almost 2 years ago, a 2-year look back window ended. Okay. So it was a 2-year look back window, but it ended 2 Decembers ago. So it was a 2-year look back window to file lawsuits for any cases involving child sex abuse in the state of California, and all statute of limitations concerns would be thrown out the window. Basically, no statute of limitations. But you only had a 2-year window to file this lawsuit. Now, I can tell you, when it comes to organizations in California that were massively exposed in this window, you've got the Catholic Church, you've got the Boy Scouts, you've got Scientology. I can tell you that the Boy Scouts received, my understanding is that the Boy Scouts received the majority of the lawsuits, and if not the majority, just a large percentage of the lawsuits that were filed during this look back period. Okay, Scientology had one lawsuit filed, and that was by someone we all call Jane Doe 1, because she was Jane Doe 1 in the Danny Masterson trial. And that lawsuit was filed during this look back period. So you've got Scientology, an organization that was sued for child SA in this look back window. And you've got the Boy Scouts of America, an organization that was sued in California during this look back window. And they're both going to be in the parade together, the same parade at the same time. Now, there's a few things I just realized I didn't even share with you guys the website here. Let's take a look at this. This is the website for the Hollywood Christmas Parade. And let's see, is it parade details? No, I think is it press releases? I think is it lineup? Let's see, it might be lineup. Here we go. Guys, you see over here, 2024 balloons and floats. They're actually using as their main photo Scientology's balloon. Let's check it out. Here we go. Pirate and chest. How do I get this a little more visible for you guys? Sponsored by Galaxy Press. So Galaxy Press is an organization. Okay, I want to call Galaxy Press Sea Org members, but it might be one of those Sea Org organizations where the Sea Org members technically have to resign from the Sea Org. It's all a bunch of paperwork nonsense anyway. Galaxy Press is a Sea Org publishing company that was set up as an offshoot of Bridge Publications International, so that Bridge Publications could retain its tax-exempt status and Galaxy Press would spin off and just publish L. Ron Hubbard's fiction books. So just like Author Services International is a publishing, it's basically L. Ron Hubbard's literary agency. Author Services International is a high-level Scientology organization. It's got huge offices right on Hollywood and La Brea, is I believe right where it is. And Author Services, even though it's just a literary agency, quote unquote, is staffed by some of the Scientology's most senior Sea organization members. The same is true for Galaxy Press. It's a Scientology organization. It's an L. Ron Hubbard organization. The staff members are Sea Org members. The money this organization makes goes directly to Scientology. And if I'm curious whether Scientology would actually say it's not really a Sea Org organization, but the truth is it is. And so, you know, this float here, Pirate and Chest, sponsored by Galaxy Press, wrangled by Boy Scouts of America. L. Ron Hubbard's stories from the Golden Age. Now, I'm guessing that the gentlemen in this photograph are not Boy Scouts. Those are whoever wrangled the balloon in some previous year's float. Okay. So there's that. Now, guys, I wonder how many people know that Scientology likes to make a lot of hay about L. Ron Hubbard having been a Boy Scout. And they say he was the country's youngest Eagle Scout ever. I don't know if they say he is still the youngest person to have ever achieved that status, or if he was at the time. My understanding is that this is a claim that could never be proven because they didn't keep those kind of records back then, is what I recall from the L. Ron Hubbard biography, Barefaced Messiah. But in any event, I think Scientology has managed to get like the Boy Scouts of America to sort of jump on board with this narrative. L. Ron Hubbard joined the Boy Scouts in Tacoma, Washington in 1923. And they say a whole bunch of stuff about it. And Scientology does continue to use the Boy Scouts as a bit of a propaganda tool. This is a Scientologist I know named Chris Lumsden. This is from Scientology's Freedom magazine website. And this is interesting because as I was preparing for this video, there was a quote here that caught my eye. Let's see. Oh, by the way, this is Scientology's Boy Scout troop here in Clearwater, Florida. Okay. I think the quote is later on. Here we go. I feel that the scouting organization helps make our youth into our future leaders. Scouting instills high moral principles, self-reliance, and responsibility for others and their community. Now, that's a pretty harmless statement, but I can tell you as a former Scientologist, what struck me is that, do you know what's supposed to make, if you're a Scientologist, what's supposed to make our youth into our future leaders and what's supposed to instill high moral principles, self-reliance, and responsibility for others in their community is Scientology. And it is weird for Scientologists to be promoting something outside of Scientology as something that is needed to help do things that Scientology itself is supposed to do. And this, as a former Scientologist, is how I think the world can see Scientology just uses these things as propaganda tools. Hey, look, we're just like you guys. We do Boy Scouts. Yeah. Scientologists. I thought it was a joke the first time I heard that Chris Lumsden was the head of a Boy Scout troop. I was like, that's got to be a joke, right? Like, so the only community-based activities Scientologists do is Scientology. And it's not really community-based. Okay, so that was Chris Lumsden and his Boy Scout troop. Now, here's where things get a little interesting and could get a little dicey for the Boy Scouts of America. And here's why the Boy Scouts of America might want to distance themselves from being involved with Scientology in the Hollywood parade stuff. So I said that only one lawsuit was filed by a former Scientologist against Scientology during that 2-year look-back window for the child essay look-back window. And that lawsuit is essentially a child sexual assault lawsuit. And it is also a lawsuit where the circumstances involved her being forced to marry her abuser, who was a Sea Org recruiter by the name of Gavin Potter. So there's a forced marriage element to the lawsuit. Now, there is an entire organization. I'm going to share the website with you here. There's an entire organization dedicated to eradicating the practice of child marriage. It's called Unchained at Last. And it says a survivor-led nonprofit organization dedicated to ending forced marriage and child marriage in the United States. Well, I happen to know that outside of the courthouse during the proceedings of this lawsuit, you can absolutely expect protests about this child bride issue. And recently, Laura and Serge were out there doing a trial run of some of the stuff that they have in mind. And this, just for example, is one of the posters that was set up out there on the sidewalk outside of the courthouse where they were protesting. No more child brides. I would not be shocked to see one of these no more child bride protests happening at the Hollywood parade, protesting Scientology. And wouldn't it be interesting if it just kind of turned out to be a double protest? Protesting the abuse that occurs in Scientology and protesting the abuse that has occurred rampantly in the Boy Scouts of America organization. So I don't know. Do the Boy Scouts of America really want to let the Church of Scientology use their members as a human shield, essentially, when it comes to protests about forced marriage and child sexual abuse? Might not be a good look for the Boy Scouts of America. So I couldn't even really tell you who to contact to file complaints or concerns or objections over the Boy Scouts of America affiliating itself publicly with the Church of Scientology. If anybody wants to shoot me an email with with contact info, recommended contact, I can put it up in the community tab on my channel. But, you know, I'm just as happy to see both organizations get protested as I am to get the Boy Scouts of America to distance themselves from the Church of Scientology. I'm not like some anti-Boy Scout guy. I've never been involved with the Boy Scouts. I don't have any. It means nothing to me. But considering that it was an organization that had an awful lot of lawsuits filed against it, I'm not exactly protective of the organization either. Okay, let's see if there was anything else I wanted to share here. We got that. We got that. We got that. Nope. Looks like we did it. All right, guys. It's late at night. Going to go to bed early. Going to try to get an early start tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out with me, you guys. Talk to you soon.
Okay, if you want to see my rock and roll songs, click right on this guitar. And if you want to see a different one of my videos, then you could click